Let's take these 4 horror movie posters and make them Lego. Starting with Scream 6. First we need a Lego subway, and thankfully I can just steal it from an official Spider-Man set. But I have to make it really big to fit the original. Now we gotta assemble Ghostface to put him in the subway. So I'm starting out with a Lego hood piece that we can cut out using select subject and then get rid of the stick manually. I'm importing a black minifigure body to match the hood and assembling it with the head. Let's mask him inside of the train and import a knife. I think that's an official Lego accessory, but I could be wrong. Anyways, let's place it in our character's hand. But now we need a face on this plain head, so I'll use a pen tool to recreate the shape of his eyes, nose and mouth and place them on my minifigure.
Nice job, team.
I'm gonna add some shadows on the knife, but also on the body and the hood. And of course, some tomato sauce on the knife. Let's duplicate the window and set display mode to screen to make Ghostface look like he's inside. Now all we need is the title, the date, and most importantly, a good old camera roll filter. And this is the Lego version of Scream 6. But this was the easiest poster of the video because we still have Obsession and Dracula later, and the next one is Halloween. First, let's steal the same knife as for Scream and cut out the perfectly angled arm of this photographer. Now we can place the arm on top of the knife and mask it out properly before giving it shadows.
Nice.
Then we're gonna make the handle darker using levels and use the same technique to make the blade more shiny, but also the sleeve a little darker. On the original poster, you can see the hand and the knife slowly morphing into a pumpkin. And in order to do the same thing, I need to duplicate the arm a bunch of times and align them. Now I'll get the pumpkin from last year's Halloween set and cut it out using select subject. I'm gonna warp the hell out of it so that it has the right perspective. Then let's duplicate the pumpkin and mask it to the shape of the knife and repeat the process for all of the knives. But this doesn't look anything like the original poster so far, so I'm using a drop shadow to really separate the different parts.
Woo! Yeah!
Let's get a Duplo plate and crop it so that we can turn it into a pattern. Now we can apply it to the background and use hue and saturation to make it black. You might have noticed that on the original poster, only the hand is visible, so let's blend the rest of the arm into the background. And while we're at it, let's do some shading. I really want to add the same white borders as the original, but I need them to be Lego pieces. So I'm gonna look for a 4x1 Lego plate and then cut it out and make it white.
What do you mean bro's built like a 1x1 Lego piece?
Now we can assemble them on one side and copy it to the other side. I just need to do the same thing for the top and bottom, and we got ourselves a nice Lego frame. But we're obviously missing the title, so let's add that in. And I'm also writing some random credits to put at the bottom of the poster, because it looks a lot cooler. The only thing left to do is give this thing a nice camera filter, and this is the Lego version of the classic Halloween. And if watching me turn horror movies into plastic bricks is your type of thing, maybe consider subscribing. Our next poster is Obsession. And this one is gonna be a lot harder because we need to use 3D Legos. Okay, so let's take a look at what's actually in this poster. We have Bear, the interior of the car, Nikki and her house. For Nikki and the house, these 2 images should be good, but for everything else, I need to make it myself. And the first thing I want to make is Bear. I've imported a bunch of references for his clothes inside of Illustrator, and I'm gonna try to make a custom minifigure body. The first step is drawing the color of his shirt, as well as buttons. And I mean, how hard could that be? Anyways, I'm adding stripes and making them green, and then I'll use the pen tool to make a t-shirt underneath. Now the only missing thing is his badge, so I'm making an oval shape and writing castles, before spending way too long looking for the right font.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And I'm simplifying the design by replacing the word music with a dark rectangle. So now I'm taking this texture and importing it in Part Maker, and that gives me a custom minifigure body. So I assembled him, but also made the car interior. And now I have all of these assets, and we just gotta put them together inside of Photoshop. So let's import this nice house, cut out the top and slide it down to make it one floor. Now we can align it with the original poster and add a few trees in the background. Let's make all of it dark and blue to fit the vibe and cut out the doorway. I'm gonna use levels and hue and saturation to make it nice and bright before importing Mickey. I know she doesn't look anything like Nikki.
What is that?
But I'm dropping her exposure way down and drawing shadows in front of her leg, so that she becomes a silhouette.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Now I'm gonna import Bear and line him up with the original, before giving him some highlights and shadows. I've exported these small triangular Lego pieces that I'll put inside of his hands and draw some shadows on. I got this image from the movie and I'm able to cut out the label of the One Wish Willow and apply it to our Lego pieces.
Nice job, team.
Now we're gonna import the car interior and break it down in two pieces to make it match the original poster. And I also have to stretch the glass to make the window fit. Let's put it behind Bear and make it way darker, before blurring out the background and duplicating him to create a reflection. And with a nice camera filter, this is the Lego version of Obsession. And our final poster literally took me days to make, Dracula. Our first step is building Lego mountains from scratch, and that takes a while. I'm assembling a lot of blocks in a way that feels natural and random, like an actual mountain. And I'm building 3 different mountains to give it some depth and try to mimic the original poster. Now that's one part down, but on the other side of the poster, there's a castle. And since I couldn't really find any good image of a proper Lego castle, I'm building it from scratch. I'm not exactly an expert at building 3D Legos, so this was a lot of trial and error to try and make the tower and the wall with arches, but at some point it kinda starts looking like an actual castle, and I'm able to render this thing. I looked online for a minifigure that could be a match for Dracula, but I ended up assembling him in 3D as well. Now, back in Photoshop, I'm importing a base plate and aligning our Lego Dracula with the original poster. Then we can add the mountains in the background. And right off the bat, I'm pretty happy with how this looks. I'm also gonna duplicate them and put them under where the castle is supposed to go, and I'll put the castle right on top. But since there's a huge gap,
What a hole!
I'm duplicating the mountains a bunch of time.
Nice.
In the original poster, there are all of these crosses, and well, you guessed it, I remade all of these in 3D. Yeah, I have a lot of free time. But now we just have to match them to the original poster, which is actually pretty easy. Then we're gonna import a nice stormy sky and color match the rest of the image to it. The thing is, the original poster is pretty dark and moody, so let's import and blend some fog behind our character, but also paint some colors from the sky onto the mountains and the castle. Then we can paint some shadows under Dracula's feet, so he looks more grounded into the scene. And I'm also painting the same kind of long shadows for the crosses as well. I'm gonna put even more fog on top of everything, and if we really want everything in this poster to look good, we're gonna need a lot of color grading and lighting adjustments. Finally, we're gonna add some rain on top of it, and I'm genuinely going all in with that camera filter. Our last step is adding the title, and this is the Lego version of Dracula. It might be one of my best posters on this channel so far, but tell me what you thought about it in the comments. And if you want to see more of this, you can click right here for a video that I'm sure you're gonna love.